Got a praise in my heart, got a praise on my lips. Gotta praise him every chance that I get. I get so excited about what he's done for me. So excited, yeah. So
there's no way to be around you and not have a smile on your face.
Thanks,
I want to say this one last little bit of introductorial encouragement.
Got a praise in my heart, got a praise on my lips. Gotta praise him every chance that I get. I get so excited about what God's done for me. So excited, I get so excited about what God's done for me. So excited, yes. Got a praise in my heart, got a praise on my lips. Gotta praise him every chance that I get. I get so excited about what he's done for me. So excited, yeah. So excited about what God's done for me. So excited, I get. Got a praise in my heart.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ride. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. You ain't got no job. You ain't got nothing else to do but to get with the tribe and come through. Listen, it's your host, Francesca White. This is Conversations with Fran. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and share button. You might want to share this video. I'm going to tell you why. I got company in the building tonight, so tribe act like somebody with some sense on tonight. But we got something to talk about, so I hope you're ready. Adjust your wigs and stuff and get your life right. You might want to go on and grab you something to drink. As always, my phone starts going off the minute the show gets started. So there's that. So let me go on and buzz that down. All right. But we got company tonight. And bless God if we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, we patronize our tribe, right? Right? We show love to the tribe, right? While we're doing that, go ahead, tell me about your day. Tell me about your week. In the comments section, let me know you here. I already see Jai. Welcome to the party, Miss Ontario. But shop the tribe vendors, Chrisette Sweets and Edible Treats by Carolyn. If you trying to get something together for this weekend, I guess my boy probably should have caught this information early so he could, as he's making his way on his journey, you'll understand what I'm talking about in a minute. He probably could have had some sweets and treats on the way just in case he's a little late, courtesy of Fran. But go ahead and hit up Miss Carolyn if you need something for the weekend. I know we all love sweet red peach, but if you right here in the South Los Angeles area and you're not trying to stand in that line, you just want to pull up and grab you a pecan cheesecake, you already know I'm a fool for that doggone pecan cheesecake. Won't eat pecan pie, but I will eat that pecan cheesecake. Come on and tell God thank you. Then we got our swag apparel. Now, normally I have on my swag apparel. But today I'm rocking my own merch today. I felt a bit bougie today. My students were acting like, "Oh, miss, you got your own merch." For like 5 seconds, I felt old because I couldn't remember what merch was. Don't judge me, love me. But anyway, but it created a conversation piece, and that now all of a sudden now they want to do podcasts and they want me to teach them how to do it. I'm here for that. I'm over here trying to make sure no kid is left behind. And honestly, deep down in my heart, I still believe the children are the future. Sometime. But anyway, let's get to it. We got the swag apparel there. We got that going. And then let's see what we have. We got Miss Rosie's Balloons and Decorations. She just did something for my church for Cancer Awareness Month. I hope y'all are showing love to the people that you know that have survived cancer, are fighting cancer right now, and then those that have gone on to be with the Lord and got their eternal healing. Keep their families in prayer. But I hope you're showing love to folks. Let's see what we got. Yes, I did say sometimes. Yes, I did. Shout out to Shanika. She said, thank you for the reminder blast. Listen, if you are not a part of the texting community, get your life together. I'm going to have that number and all that information ready for you. You can get a text, you get 2 messages a week. You get one at the top of the week to let you know the show is coming. And then the day of the show, you get a reminder with a flyer that you can share. So I got some subscribers already. If you're interested, I will put that up. Matter of fact, I'm about to jump on that right now. And then we can get that going. But yes, you are definitely welcome for your reminder. Shout out to those subscribers to the tribe. The tribe. So yeah, let me go ahead and add that real quick. Forgive me for not having it already on the screen for you. Good God Almighty. Yeah, so listen. This has been an interesting week. Let me tell you something. When I say last week made me pray, and then here comes this week with nothing but overflows of blessings. What did that teach me? It taught me that if I hold on, the blessings are gonna come through. Stuff looks real rocky and shaky. It just kind of gives God an opportunity to let me show you. Let me show you what I can do when your back looks like it's up against the wall. Let me show you how I'm gonna bless you. Let me sprinkle me. Okay, now that was the gospel according to E40. But let me tell you. This is what God did to me this week. You remember, y'all know that meme? Hold on, y'all know. That meme where the man does like that. I promise you, boo-boo. That's how Jesus did me this week. He said, Fran, I stressed you out. I know. It was a test, but that's what he did to me. I felt good, too. I received it. Yes, I did. I put an extra ED and an IT on it. Get your life. I got folks chiming in. Let me get this together real quick because this is, oh, brother. I'm going to put it like this. The brothers got something to say tonight. And I got to make sure that I get all this little info out the way I'm supposed to. Get up, Jesus. It's the 3rd day. That's all I'm about to say. To my boy, I'm just going to have to talk to him while he's behind the scenes. I can't tell you who he is just yet. But I'm going to talk to him behind the scenes. Go ahead and shoot that link to Reg so I don't have to stress right now. Just go on and forward that email to him. And he can open that up if you don't mind. You driving, so let me not put you through all of that. Because you got to get where you're going. I am not about to be responsible for no shenanigans on tonight. I'm telling you, y'all, I got some brothers in the building. We got something to talk about. You already know what it is. When we get started, we really get going. And these brothers can definitely hold their own. So there that go. All right. I think I'm doing this right. Oh, I did it. God is good. All right. I'm sending out these links because the brothers are coming through tonight. All right. Y'all just bear with me and love me. Love me in the middle of it. Why don't you? All right. Okay. So tonight's conversation is about red flags. I don't know how many of you keep up on social media, but at the top of the week, everything kind of went crazy on the gram with the Shade Room about red flags. What are some red flags for you? What have become red flags for you? Not only are we talking about the red flags, but what are some definite deal breakers? My mom I almost lost my mind this morning. She sent me this video of what dating over 50 looks like, and it was two 50-year-old individuals, having this. I mean, it really sounded like negotiations. 50-year-old male interested in marriage. How about, you're single, I'm single, let's just go ahead and get married. Oh, you're finally trying the direct approach. Oh, it's like they were just going at each other's heads about what things are deal breakers, what they were willing to accept, what they were not willing to accept. Long story short, when they got to the last item was where they went vacation. He kept saying Hawaii. She wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard. And so then he said, well, is that a deal breaker for you? She said, yes. And he said, all right, not a problem. Well, we gave it a shot. Nice talk. And she goes, yeah, hopefully you'll find somebody that meets your entire criteria. Yeah, we gave it a good shot. That's it. Boom. That was the end of it. And so the idea of it is, what if dating really was that simple? And then the flip side to that is experience teaches you exactly what it is that you're looking for. But we also have to entertain the thought that you won't know what you're looking for until you get in tune, as Cat Williams would always say, until you're in tune with your star player. And your star player is you, right? So this means that nobody else can make you whole. You have to make yourself whole, right? All right. So your happiness can't be based on somebody else. It literally has to be, it's on you. So to help me have this conversation tonight, they lit up Instagram all week long in the evening hours with all of the conversations about red flags, and the conversations got very heated. They were quite hilarious. And so I have the awesome privilege of bringing one of my bros on, and his name is Jeremy Whittington. I'm going to allow him to tell you who he is, how he wants to introduce himself, and all that good stuff. But I'm happy to have him on. And I mean, we tried to link up on Instagram, but every time they got on, I was already wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in them sheets, ready to go to sleep. Praise the Lord. And so I allowed that conversation to just listen. And I know I was commenting and everything, and see, Jeremy already knows how I am. So with no further ado, let me just go on and put the brother on the screen. Y'all give a nice tribal welcome to the one and the only Jeremy Whittington. What's up, man?
What's up, Fran? What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm breathing, I'm shaking, and everything's quaking. I'm good.
That's what's up.
Man, I was wrapped up, tied, tangled up. You understand? Like, it wasn't going to turn me loose. I was not about to sit back up. None of that. It wasn't happening, bro. I'm sorry. And then last night I was driving. I'm like, nah, man. I'm not as talented as you, because I don't have like a what is it, like the foam prop thing where you can make it sit. I sound so old, like I don't know what nothing is called.
Yeah.
Pray my strength.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some love in the building. I love him. What'd you say?
I said you couldn't hang with us that night because you was up to 4 o'clock in the morning having a conversation.
Listen, I thought I was tripping. My phone kept, like, because I have alarm set to wake me up. And I'm like, my phone keep going. I gotta be tripping. And I just thought maybe it was just sending the same. Y'all really stayed on that long?
We was on from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning having a conversation.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, you got some love in the building. There we go.
Hit me up. Who was that?
That's Josiah Porter from Friendship of...
I'm drunk.
No, I got you. It's Josiah Porter from Friendship of Ontario. Friendship Baptist of Ontario.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Jay?
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah. So, tell them who you are. Tell them how this conversation got going, man. And we're going to take it from there. Let me get your name up there on the screen. How can I do it? There we go. Go ahead.
So, Fran, we've been on live last 4 nights.
Right.
And so the whole something first what does it look like today a man in leadership?
Okay.
and then from there it went to what do you look for what you're a woman or dating a man, and then it went to what you have be interested in that person.
Okay.
And so me, the controversy every now and then. And
Yeah,
so
you're not scared
I
of
started
it.
the conversation. Yeah. And so I started the conversation with you, and so today they feel like you have to take this out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked the question in the middle of this, does the woman appreciate the man?
Okay.
When does the woman decide, all right, he's for me, let me come out.
I
And
got
so
you.
it got controversy because the felt that they can take you to norms, even if you took them to an ANU or so my guys that were on Marquis said, listen, if I'm taking you out and spending all this money, you ain't taking it. That's when all heck broke loose.
Oh.
And then you I'm a single mama. Gotta take my for no date.
Uh-huh.
So I said, you a single mama, but you have bag. You got $100 fair, but you can't take me out.
Okay, so it's breaking up a little bit, so I'm gonna help the tribe out real quick. Okay, so the idea is that the conversation started with them talking about dating people in leadership. From there, it went to how women show their love and their support, or do they treat, or how do you turn the tables and show the same love that you're expecting from the man? And these are common questions, but you would be surprised. People have some very very interesting perspectives of how they feel they should be treated. And so I made a statement the other night that there's this sense of entitlement when they were having this conversation, that there are some women that they're this entitlement that, how did I say it? It's like they feel entitled, and it shows you that they have the intentions of being a kept woman. Okay. But I should have taken it a step further. It's more like being a kept woman with a very vocal opinion. Okay. The idea, what some don't know, is the idea of a kept woman is you just go along with whatever your husband has to say about the situation, because you realize that he's gonna make this happen. He's gonna pay for whatever needs to be done. All I have to do is just be pretty when he comes home. Basically, be a trophy wife. Okay. All right. So that's the idea of how that conversation got going. And needless to say, someone got on who happened to be a mother. And she was talking about all of the $100, shoes and stuff and things that she likes to wear and buy. But when it was time to go out to eat, she wanted to just do something like norms. Well, I mean, $100 shoes are not hard. That's not hard these days. It's Payless is closed. Come on, somebody. And so unless you're shopping at Nordstrom Rack where you can catch a deal on some Michael Kors, you understand what I'm saying? Either way, you're still, by the time they add the taxes and do all the whoop-de-blams, you're still going to spend anywhere close to $100. So it's really not that difficult, okay? So the idea, but most women have this, they want to go out, they want to go to fine lavish restaurants, and sometimes this is predicated upon how the man presents himself, okay? So my question becomes, how did you present yourself? If you presented yourself on the Ruth Chris Boa Steakhouse, Lawry's, come on somebody at Christmas time, if you're trying to put a smile on my face, I just thought I'd throw that out there because, it's almost 'tis the season. And I like to be jolly. Amen. All right. So anyway, I got some other people on, some more people that I want to introduce to you. Jeremy's back, but on top of that, I have the one and the only who's not a stranger to the tribe over here at Conversations with Fran. Please welcome to the stream, Wayne C. Hopkins. There he is. Oh, come on, Doc. You're muted. I can't hear you. Let's get your sound together, bro.
How about now?
I hear you. Come on.
Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And I heard it's going to be a hot topic. Had to, fireproof myself.
Yes, come on. Come on.
Hope I haven't messed it up over here.
No, you have not messed it up. There's Jeremy back, and then I got to bring one more.
Lord have mercy.
Listen, I got one more person to bring on the screen, and that's Markeith Smith. There he is from that was a serious conversation from this past week. You all have brought me great joy. Okay. It was hilarious. Say hello, tribe. Be kind, be sweet. Say hello to Markeith Smith, to Jeremy Whittington again, and Wayne C. Hopkins. All right. So we brought them all up to speed on what the conversation is about. Markeith, jump in there with your perspective. Kind of give a little more light to the conversation that happened on this past week, and then hit them with one of your red flags. First of all, tell me one of your red flags.
Mine are based off of somebody else.
Yours.
My red flag is I hold everything in, so I have bad communication.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a horrible one. But we working on it. Y'all pray for me. But this week, what happened, Fran? Based off of somebody else.
Yours.
My red flag is I hold everything in, so I have bad communication.
Okay.
My flag is I hold everything in, so I have bad communication.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I hit a button on the microphone, so that's my bad. Sorry, tribe. My bad. Okay, so, because if all of a sudden there was like an echo and a delay thing happening, so I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so one more time, share for me a red flag for a lady that you're dealing with. This is something that she says it or she does it, and it's like, ooh, gotta go.
I always said that my red flag was that sense of entitlement. So that's my red flag.
Entitlement. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Okay, there he is. All right. Hopkins, tell me, what is a red flag for you?
A piggyback on that entitlement. You could be all that. You could be wonderful. You could be, resplendent in all your glory. But you got to be nice. If you are unkind to other people in service, in fellowship, or whatever, if you got that mean streak for no reason, that's a red flag for me, because at some point, I'm going to be on the brunt of that, and I'm really good at giving that back. That's not a skill I'm proud of. So I try to lead with the kindness just in general. So I give it in order to receive it. And when folks don't know how to do that, that's definitely a sign. Learn the hard way, but maybe it's just me.
No, it's not just you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just you. Kindness is definitely a plus, even if things are not working out.
Right.
I mean, first of all, in this rushed society that we live in, relationships are one thing that cannot be rushed. Okay. I've come to realize that the most fruitful relationships are friendships. Because I believe we give more grace in friendships than we give in intimate relationships that are leading to marriage, and so on and so on. Because I'm sure no one has the intent to just stay in a situationship unless that's what they've agreed upon. Okay, but for those that are actually dating with the prospect of marriage, then yeah, you definitely want to take your time, and you really want to get to know the person, because people acquiesce to life. Life changes people in drastic ways, and that's one of the conversations that also came about. And I don't want to speak for one of my other boys that's probably going to jump in a little bit later, but life will change you. Okay, situations that will occur that are completely out of your control will change you. And so there are some who say you never really know a person until you see them upset, until you see them grieving, until you see them broke. Okay, and just for the sake of being all the way across the board, you don't know a person until you see them in their brokenness. Okay, whether that's financially, emotionally, whatever the case. Brokenness is when you definitely find out what that person is really made of. So that's definitely that. Now, yes, sir.
So, okay, you touched on something, because when you talked about when you see somebody in that broken space, that angry space, that leads me to another red flag: immaturity. Because when a person feels that they have to test you and poke you and prod you to force you into some emotional reaction, not realizing now we're better at it because we're into mental health and wellness and all that kind of stuff now, but that's very recent, with pandemic and whatnot. But I've been in a lot of situations where I'm a calm person. I'm a relatively chill person. To get there, I had to work very hard to suppress the natural things that came, from my parents, generational stuff, where I have a temper that most people don't believe I have. You really don't want this to show up. And if I work so hard to make that not an issue for the people that I care about, you know what I mean? Let's not go there. And when it keeps on coming with the nag and the this, well, let me just, I just want to make sure. That's a sign that I'm gonna have to be elsewhere, because I don't have time to raise a kid in an adult mature relationship, and a lot of times that comes up.
Exactly. And so now how do we navigate this? How do we navigate how do you weed that out? Because I mean, it only happens when certain situations occur. So how do you go about weeding that situation out?
I think it's an invitation or uh, when you see a red flag, you got to do something, right? So that's definitely an opportunity for an honest conversation to say, listen, I need you to understand that's triggering to me for this reason. Uh, I want you to you can share stories. This is why that bothers me so much. A lot of times we don't really argue constructively because we're so busy trying to get out of that negative space. And somebody has to take that upper hand to say, or at least the high road to say, I'm really not trying to throw a brick across the room. I'm really trying to be a better person. But for me to be a better person, I got to always acknowledge what I could be and then make sure that you understand why I'm moving in a certain way. And then we got to move together. And I think sometimes people are coming from, I'll just put it out there. We're of a certain demographic in terms of years on the planet. And at a certain point, you just don't want to go back through what you've already been through. At a certain point, you don't even want to explain it anymore. And you have to say, hey, in 2021, 22, meet me here. Let's level up together. Let's make our first steps good steps so that the things that happened before, they don't even really matter other than we acknowledge them and we definitely deliberately move forward. Because Lord knows, no turning back, no turning back. I've decided to follow Jesus. Ha, Lord. Let me get some living water.
So, Marquis, talk to me, sir. Tell me now, how do you navigate through the whole relationship thing? How do you navigate through it? How do you handle it when things present itself?
Well, first of all, we can acknowledge that we all have trauma, um, and so we will be able to acknowledge the right person when they understand what our trauma is, and then they don't push us to get to that place again. We all have red flags within us. So I know we asked a question the other day, like, do you have anger issues? And some people said they do, but the right person won't push you to have those anger issues because they care that much about you. And so it's pretty much having that conversation of what I don't like and what I do like. And then if you care that much, then you won't push me or do something that I just don't like.
I dig it, and I mean, and that's the thing. Listen, I think if anything, and that's why I sometimes, even if a situation doesn't work out in that respect, hopefully there's not so much bad blood that you cannot grow the friendship, But it has a lot to do with, like Hopkins said, it has a lot to do with the maturity level of life, and some are used to pouting and getting their way. I'm gonna act a complete nut, and that's gonna make you stay. Baby, that's called toxic. Okay. I'm not here for toxicity. I'm really okay without that. Life is toxic on its own, and what you do in trying to rise above it. I mean, we're all churchy. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. So just because the world is toxic doesn't mean that my inner circle and the place where I call peace has to be toxic. I don't thrive in that. Okay? I'm not a parasite. Okay. And that's what happens. Most times, what we're running into are leeches and parasites. I mean, no harm. Not trying to, I don't like to put labels on people, but I mean, let's call a thing a thing. Okay. When you really, and that's what the whole idea of the red flags are. You're figuring out who this person is. And so look, let me do it this way, okay? I sent them to Hopkins. Let's just run through a couple of these things. All right, this is one when someone has been caught in a fib, in a lie. They say, man, all right, believe what you want to believe. Red flag or not, the red flag in that to me is if you say, man, believe what you want to believe, it's two things to it. But the most factual one is When a person says, man, believe what you want to believe, you're right. They just don't want to take ownership to the fact that you caught them in the lie or that you caught them in the situation. Okay, so no, when I hear "man, believe what you want to believe," that's normally it's a backhanded way of saying, "Yeah, you're right, you caught me," but I'm not gonna admit to it. What say ye? What say the brethren? Unmute yourselves, cause I'm muted.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to snitch on the brethren, but I mean that Fran, you 85% right. 85, 85, 85. I just feel like once you repeat yourself over again, then it's like it ain't no reason for me to continue to go. So you're gonna just believe what you want to believe. But I have said it because I was caught in a lie. So I say it, just believe what you want to believe, to give it that, water it down a little bit.
Okay, all right, Hopkins.
That could be a little tough. I agree. But one thing I have to put in here, some of this stuff happens at different phases in life. So I would say being caught, even that language, I had to tell somebody one time, okay, you telling me I'm caught, I'm not a thief, I'm not a criminal, right? That's racist underlying language. You're talking to a fellow adult, not a child, right? So depending on what's going on and who's involved, I'm sensitive to the way someone approaches me about something, right or wrong. You know, it's the way they said it. Now, sometimes that works better one way than the other. But I would say if somebody said to me, believe what you want to believe, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to make sure that I'm moving on to the next important thing, because enough red flags in a row, I got to be elsewhere. Okay. I'm not always looking for an escape hatch. So I would probably less likely be the one to try to track somebody down and where were you this? And when you said this, you know, I'm not really trying to be the lawyer there. But what I will do is try to find the path to where we can meet again. Because if you got to go through all that just to get around me, hey, let me get out your way, because I got other stuff to do too. So yeah,
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay,
All good.
so my godmother threw something out there. She said jealousy is a red flag. Listen, that flag on the play, done deal. Especially, I mean, okay, in any situation, jealousy is just too much. I know some who used to think of the thought that, oh, if you're, if you act jealous, that means, you really care, you don't want anybody else to have me. No, it's actually a red flag that this person is borderline stalkerish. Okay. In these last and evil days, I'm really not gonna take that chance with it. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm in a phase of life where if I don't already know you, I don't want to get to know you. I'm sorry.
Well, let me add something.
Pray my strength, because it's a trust thing. Yeah, I can honestly say that. Do I have trust issues? Yes. As I get older and I accumulate things, and I'm becoming, as Michelle Obama said, constantly becoming. When I start thinking about what there is to lose, I am beginning to look. And no, this is no shade, no foul. I mean, no disrespect. But yes, I am beginning to look at how many children do you have? Do you pay your child support? Because when we tie up, Chisup is not coming out of my check. Oh, you ought to tell the Lord, thank you. All right. Okay. And then it's not even, and then this is the reason why. Because everybody doesn't have a wonderful co parenting situation. Okay. When you have 1, 2, 3 baby mama, no, that somebody is still in love somewhere. And all of a sudden, I don't know if you saw, what's the movie? What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh yeah.
Okay, when the kids got dropped off on the porch because Ike had finally made it.
Classic.
Nah, man. You
Classic.
know, all of a sudden, the kids were never around when you were dating, but the minute you get hitched, that Cadillac Seville swoops up to the porch, a knock on the door, ring, ring of the doorbell. By the time you get to the door, all you see is smoke. All right.
The peel
Talk,
out.
sir. I'm gonna mute myself because I could go. I could wear this one out.
I'm gonna come back to that because we started with jealousy, and I'm gonna have to say,
I'm sorry. I got upset. I
it's
apologize.
okay because you rightfully did. So here's the thing: jealousy. Number one with jealousy, we're in Los Angeles, the entertainment world, the ministry world. If you cannot stand your person being around other people, okay, number one, yes, got to grow out of that. But number two, you really need to be honest about what that person does, who they are, and what they draw from their service, from their performance, from the things that they do. Now, I'm not saying that's a carte blanche for people in ministry or in the performing arts or whatever, the public eye, so to speak, to go out and do crazy things. They do. It's not to say that it is right, but that jealousy thing, and I'm not even going to say it's a spirit. I'm not going to blame that on the Lord or the devil because that's a people thing. It's behavior, okay? When you can't, you got to, my siblings and I, we talk about the Klingons. We know people who are with Klingons. They just, I don't want you out of my, from our standpoint, okay, we have eyes. We're going if we're at a black tie, the Oscars or something, red carpet, everybody is dressed to be seen. Men are gonna look, women look too. Y'all just maybe a little bit more subtle about it. And there's nothing wrong with being aware of your surroundings. If you're networking, if you're in ministry, okay, you gotta pray, lay hands, talk to people, you gotta go to rehearsals and all that kind of stuff, ministry. And if you have that behavior where you get bothered by that, you really got to evaluate the type of person that you're with because you will drive yourself crazy and everybody else around you with that jealousy. So that is something dangerous. And on the other side, from men to women, ours has the undercurrent of violence. Like I said, what's love got to do with that? I as a black man, many times people think that I am a softer person because I'm not overtly, violent or a bully or whatever. Mine is a little bit more subtle. I came from South Carolina. I was not trying to become tree candy, okay? I was not trying to be arrested for little or nothing just because I expressed my temper.
You didn't want to be Southern fruit, is what strange fruit. Strange fruit. That's what it is. Strange fruit.
Wasn't trying that. So again, we have to be aware. And so if a gentleman is protective of his lady, of course, if he lets it be known, hey, the reason that I want to make sure, because I know how these guys are, that's a conversation you have, and you work out the way that if she is the front person, there's a way to support her and allow her to be in her element and still provide that level of support so that people know who you are and you don't really have to worry about it. Now, when we get to the red flag element of it, the red flag of baby mamas, let's talk baby daddies. Let me share it. People don't know this, and I don't talk on live, so this is a special for Evangel Fran, okay? So I was seeing someone some years ago, and
no, you gotta say it. No. You gotta say it the Hopkins way. You gotta say it
our pastoral princess.
No, not that. In previous administration.
Oh, yes. In a previous administration, yes. And this is no shade. I love everybody. We all God's children. But I had gone a long time without dating anybody who had children. It was just a thing. I aged out of that. At this age, we all got to accept people might have a kid. They might have, a past life. That's fine. So this person's child's father was incarcerated. Okay. Now, I didn't think that much about it, but I learned through that process, there are things that come with that. you can get through it. But from a male to women standpoint, we want to know, is he crazy? Is he in jail? In a perfect world, is he dead? Okay, if we're really talking about this, is he going to be with Jesus? And we don't really have to worry about this. That way, we can be a stepfather and raise this child adopt. Now, that is a small percentile. And so I know somebody, Pastor talking about they should. No, it's an ideal.
I'm sorry. It was the perfect world for me. That just my whole face cracked. I just continue. I'm sorry. Continue.
So with that, if you look at it from both sides, both perspectives are valid, but they're not identical, right? So if a lady's looking at a guy with all these babies, and as you said, the child support is not coming from anything we have, so that means your household structure is already going to have multiple accounts. You're going to have allocations and finance. Who does the money? Who deals with this? How do you begin to co-parent in a 3 or 4 way situation where you got steps on both sides? And it's the kind of conversations that are difficult, but more and more pervasive. And what we have is the challenge of how do we do what is best for the children, because they do have to have a priority as they are minors. Then how do we make sure that we maintain our sanity? And then how do we build a household that is going to be, God loving, God fearing, God blessing, that we're not.
It's a blended family.
Yeah. And the blend, what does the blender do? A blender goes at super high speed with a lot of energy to chop stuff up. Okay. So our blending cannot just be, well, I just won't be there when she comes to pick them up on her weekend, or you go to the sheriff's station. We've got to extend a whole lot of grace. We got to forgive folks for stuff we had nothing to do with, but it will impact us if we let that be a part of our lives. And what I got to say is, folks just got to be honest. If that is really not your ministry, if that is not your calling, if that's not something you feel strongly that I really can do this, leave it alone. Give him a handshake and a peck on the cheek, tell him he's a wonderful person, but you just can't do that for your own, and then when they come up, well, the Lord led me to you. Well, the Lord's going to lead me too. We tell a lot of lies on the Lord because of what we want. That's another episode, but I'm just saying, if the red flags are there, you got to acknowledge them. And if you're going to make the work to do the effort to work on them, just be honest about it. If the fellow that was in jail, he said some things, I became the I can't repeat it on the air. I wasn't afraid, but it was kind of annoying. And I'm like, do I really want to deal with this? And here we are, 10 years. We love everybody.
Amen. We love everybody in Jesus' name, but I am
previous administrations.
That I'm in tears. I'm near tears. Let me say it that way. Now, I will say this. There was a situation. Now we're going back to the allowing a person to shine. One of my, let's see, here we go. Sabrina said that's not jealousy. That is not accepting any behavior based on occupation. So this is the thing. I had a situation in previous administration. That's going to be our phrase. That is our key phrase of the evening, tribe. Previous administration. How do we refer to our past relationships? Because that's what it is, okay? All right.
It's such a nasty term. X is like cancel culture. I don't like that.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it, because there are some previous administrations that we can respect them because they did their job. And then we have Trump. So anyway, the idea is, in this particular previous administration, the problem was the statement was made that people are only speaking to me because of you. When we go places, people will have a full conversation with you and then look and realize who you are. And this is even after I've made the introductions and this, that, and the other. Now, I will be honest, at the time, I had some petty friends that did not hide the fact that they did not care for the individual, but that was not always the case, okay? There were times that if I had to go to a speaking engagement and previous administration accompanied me, and really didn't see us together because I'm in one spot, they're sitting in another, it was always this, we're not on the same level. So because we're not on the same, because we don't do the same thing, then it says, oh, why is that person always in your face? Why, well, first of all, I'm a preacher. And I don't care. I don't know if you noticed, but there are more male preachers than female preachers. So the arena that I'm in and the occupation that I'm in means that I'm going to be around guys. Okay, so just because one is suited and booted and put some cologne on for his own soul salvation does not mean that it was to impress me. Now, just because I was able to detect that that was Vulgari Aqua,
Yeah.
and it smelled good, and God bless you, man. Come on, you can't be that simple in the mind, And so, like you said, we love everybody. God bless the children, and God bless the one that has his own. Okay, but the problem was he could not handle the fact that I'm doing things, I'm going here, I'm going there. After events, he wanted to leave because he didn't want people in my face like that. Why do you have to talk to so many people? This, that, and the other. Well, first of all, it's called being gracious. That's one, because I don't consider myself to be on a pedestal. You see me on a pedestal. I don't. I understand my assignment. My assignment does not put me up on a pedestal. It puts me where I have to be available to people. So if I'm not speaking to people and not being gracious to people, and they see that I'm inwardly in turmoil, it got to the point that it was like I stopped telling them that I had engagements. Where you? Oh, I'm already gone. Cause I didn't want to go through it. Okay, I just didn't. All right, let's check the comments and see what the good people in Zion. Yes, red flag. Red flag indeed. That's exactly that. Shout out to Jeremy Whittington doing his best to keep his relationship where it needs to be. He sent a message saying that he's in between the mountains. He's on his way to movie night with the love of his life. So I did not want to, huh?
I said, get it, Pastor. Go on,
Okay,
Pastor.
so you go on and get where you got to go, and I get it. So he's still tuned in and he's commenting in there. We even got Houston in the building. Dr. Larry Brown is on tonight with his phrase, "Touch your neighbor." I'm just listening. That's the problem. Some folks don't need to be touched. Let's see here. Sabrina says, I have the same problem because I work in sports administration and athletics. The jealousy is real. Yes, once again, once again, you are in a position where you are going to be around a lot of brothers. And Sabrina is not ugly. All right. Come on in Zion. All right. And then I've come to realize, well, you know how they say beauty's an eye of the beholder, and there's the wise men said beauty's only skin deep. What? Yeah. All right. So let's see. Glenda said throw fire. The whole administration.
Pastor, let me share some tactics.
I'm here.
That I think we can help to address this particular red flag. Teamwork is definitely important. As you come together, and again, this kind of goes against my Generation X sensibilities, but we really do have to do some co-branding once we become a couple, once we decide that this is going to be a thing. Now, here's the kicker. We have to do it with intention. Because in the courtship phase, if it's new in dating, everybody don't need to know that. You cannot post every plate onto the Instagram. You've got to keep it until it becomes something. So that's number one. Then secondly, as you get into the serious stage, say that 6 months and you're there, you're committed, I'm very careful about words like monogamous. I'm careful about, even the word relationship. I'm old school. Ain't nobody moving in my house. I'm not moving in nobody's house unless there's, some marriage. Okay. And I'm tight with my space. And I know that that's an issue that I have to overcome. That's the area that could be a red flag against me because I do have a busy schedule. I don't have a lot of free time, so to speak. I'm an entrepreneur, a pastor, a teacher, and many other things, multi-platform professional. So I can't just lay up and do Netflix. If I sit still, I'm going to sleep. That could be an issue. But as we get to that point where we're moving together with intention to say, hey, I think this is serious. This is something I really want to do. Then we start to have the conversations of how do we co-brand this? How do we face the world together? How do we help each other to shine in our respective venues around our respective people? What's going to happen when we go to your people's house? What are they looking for? What happened in your previous administrations that your family and friends are going to protect you from? So yeah, they're going to be looking at me crazy because the last one you brought in here had these tendencies or these traits. Everybody has their type. Okay, so a lot of times we're picking those subconscious things as much as the physical form and frame. So as we get into that co-branding, hey, listen, when I'm going to speak or whatever, I need you to be the one watching the crowd, see who's who. Because if someone approaches me and I think it's just the normal, natural, friendly handshake and they got ulterior motives, no, I don't want to have somebody come up and stab me with no knife. But I don't want you to see someone coming up to approach me and you stabbing them with the knife. Get away. You know what I'm saying? So how do we teamwork? What's the signal when I need to get out of here and you come in very gently, Reverend, we need to get on because we got somewhere else to go. Or whether it's, the security needs, Pastor Fran, we got to get you, you got to protect your voice and all that kind of stuff. That's where you can really do that team thing in this public venue that we're all in and really support one another. And the bottom line is to be honest. We have to say, this is something I did not have from the previous administration. This is where other people, maybe they didn't know they were letting me down. Maybe they didn't know they were getting on my last nerve of driving me away. But we got to be honest with those people that we're intentional and serious about. And the last thing I'm going to say is, let's not get so serious so fast, but let's not let things drag on to the point where we're not even sure what it's supposed to be because we have not declared any intentions. We haven't operated together. We've just been in the same time and space and figured it out. Figure it out up front and then work that thing. When we talk about blending, the blender is an operational thing. So let's blend with some purpose and do some stuff better.
Absolutely. So Dr. Brown says the problem is someone is always trying to one up the other, and I ain't competing with anyone who is supposed to be, desires to be on my team. Now, that's the. Listen,
I can't quit it.
now,
I got to do the Baptist self-arrest.
man, you just gotta hug and rock. That's
all I got.
Just hug and rock. There's no competition. And I think the sweetest thing that you can do in any situation is to make sure that it is clear. You don't have to walk around being rude like, I'm with somebody. There's no swag in that, because I feel that it's obvious, and that was the other thing that really tripped me out about that particular administration. People could tell that Fran's not available. It was clear. I just don't understand what was wrong with his ocular vision that he couldn't tell that it was clear, So that was a bit interesting. Now, the most recent previous administration, this was not an issue. It was something else that was the issue, but this wasn't it. I had a speaking engagement. He decided to show up. He decided to surprise me. And then afterwards, I'm standing there and I'm speaking with one of my mentors. So this was a big deal, to see how you going to handle yourself in front of my mentor, because of course she cares about me and she's watching how you maneuver. I could not. My Bible was not in my hand. The bag that I carried certain items in. Let me take that. And he told it. I'll be standing over here. And I almost took a lap around the sanctuary. Jesus, cuz that used to be an issue. There was no rush. There was no anger. There was no. And he was dressed. He was Idris Elba meets Los Angeles meets Barbara. He was amazing. Okay, but I'm back. I said I'm back. Now the thing was, what messed that situation up? It was just too many other things going on. It's you became real good at dating. Okay, that's what that is, and you don't know how to take that next step. Not a problem. I'm not mad. We cool. No love lost, okay? But how you handle me around in my element, in what I do, that you can't put me in a frame of mind that I have to either speak up for you because you don't know how to hold your own. And someone raised a question in here. I'm gonna get y'all because y'all tearing this comment section apart. Okay, I'm gonna get to it, but I'm looking for something. Goodness, Whittington asked a question, and I'm gonna pose it to everyone. I found it. Okay, here we go. So the question is, do we date who is on our level? Because now this, I'm gonna tell you why this question is important, because I promise it's the last time I'm gonna use your phrase tonight, okay? All right. In previous administration, I guess I was trying to build a man like some go to build a bear. That sounds harsh. I get it. Breathe, y'all. Come up for air. It's gonna be okay. What I mean by that is I saw potential. I loved the person. I believed better for that person given their past. But it appeared that I wanted more. I wanted it for them more than they wanted it for themselves. Okay? So that's where that became a problem, which then put me in this space where from that administration to this most recent, we looking at about 5 or 6 years. Maybe longer. Because one, I needed to get a lot of this out of my system. Some bad I got to the point where I didn't really know how to deal with people because I had become so closed off because I didn't want to offend this person. It changed how I interact with people. And it made me get to the point where I had to begin checking myself. So that took time. That phrase, the best way to get over someone is under somebody else. The devil is a slewfoot lie. Because all you're doing is adding to the toxicity that's already in your system. Okay? So that's not always best. I'm just saying, that's not always best.
So what you did in answering that question about the levels, okay? That's an honesty check. That's a red flag about ourselves. The reflection that we don't like, when we see that red flag, it's not to say that it's reflecting what's in us. It might very well be reflecting what is not in us. It could be a red flag of confirmation that this is not where I can lay my head, take my claim, change my name, and all the rest that goes along with that. What is hard about that is when we use that word levels that Pastor Whittington gave us, which is great because it's right where people are.
Yes.
We immediately go to the financial and the productivity and the potential. What can he become is a little bit different criteria for us, but the same concept is there. But what I say is we have to be honest about which levels are relevant to our big picture. Okay. So if money is not an issue, okay, fine. Maybe it isn't finance per se, but maybe it is a person's presence in the world. You might have just been realizing that this person is not going to have the level of influence that you will. And so that means that in a wifely role, okay, you would have to operate way different than you would in your public role. You know that, you embrace that, but it's impossible to kind of merge the two when the red flags are there saying this is going to be a hard job. When you said the build a bear, that's a thing, and of course, women are gifted at intuition and being able to see things that we don't see because we're either narrow focused.
That's how God made us. That's how God made us. Women birth it.
It's
The
there.
man brings it, but then the woman brings it to pass. So that's what we naturally do. And so we're quick, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
That's
we're
right.
quick to see it. And it's, yes, I can see what you can be. I want to support that. And that's just it. When you care about someone, you want to see how can you be a blessing to that person. How do our visions, our paths, our purpose intermingle? And so I totally get what Jeremy is saying. Yeah, you definitely want to be with someone that you're on the same level, or you're both achieving purpose. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that it's happening at the same rate, but you're making movements in your own zone. That doesn't mean I got to jump over in your lane and do what you do. It means that in the lane that I'm in, I'm soaring while you're soaring as well. But what we do is when we step back and we find things that we're interested in, sweetheart, I'm interested in supporting you, and I'm interested in bringing you there because we're going higher and higher together. That's being equally yoked, being of the same mind, having having vision, and having the tools, equally having tools to help each other get where you're trying to go. If you are a pastor, and that's the thing, Hopkins, somebody asked me this question. Fran, could you be married to a pastor? My answer was yes. The reason why is because I understand what my assignment is. It's not one of those, because some women, and this is how that conversation from on Instagram got going, because there are some women who feel when they marry a pastor, now you are co-pastor, or you're pastoring from behind the scenes. You're supporting your husband, but the vision was given to him. So know your role. You dig what I'm saying? All right.
I dig it. Let me share some perspective, okay? Because that's all I got, perspective. That level where I was going with the level thing is really simple, and this is where the work has to happen. Those levels where one person, the other person, if you're talking about the gentleman or whatever, there are certain things that are just not going to be important to him. There are other things that are going to be important to him, and you may not understand why, or it may not make sense, or it's like, why that? When you get to know what that is and what that why is, hopefully that'll be a quicker process, because that is, again, it's a reflection of what may or may not be your assignment in terms of the person, because all the gifts and the uplifting and all the ability and all that kind of stuff is there for a purpose for that person. And if it is energy extended to the wrong person, I would say it's almost deathly, because the level of frustration that can happen to the one that's trying to give that support. And let me tell you, I have attempted unknowingly. I grew up Southern. There are certain ways that I was brought up to treat a lady. Every woman doesn't necessarily carry herself as a lady, okay? Some have even been offended by the notion that they would have to hew to such archaic terminology and behavior and demeanor. And that's really all I know. Not to say that I have anything against a modern professional woman being the best that she can be.
Modern women still appreciate chivalry, so that's not gonna wash.
But here's the thing:
we're not talking about the feminist movement here. Like,
but here's the point: when those things happen and those synergies do not synergize, you got to take the hint. You got to be willing to say. He has to say, she has to say, you know what? This is a wonderful person, and I wish them the best. We've got to be willing to let go when we start basically fighting a person for their own best interest. When we start to argue about things that we are trying so desperately to improve their quality of life. If they ain't receiving it, and sorry about my language, but if they're not receiving it, not interested, don't have the concept, or don't have the ability to even take the the suggestion, the recommendation, the exposure. A lot of times people have not even been exposed to the level that you can bring them to. And when I say level, it's just, hey, this is a quality of life thing. This is my environment. Here's Wayne Hopkins only. I ain't speaking for all men and anybody. I know how I like to live. I know what I've had to sacrifice in order to get the little bit that I got, the few little bits of change and the few little experiences that I like to share with the people that I care about. And some things may not be your cup of tea, but there's a wow factor. Wow, this is a way to know you. This is why you like this, or this is where you learn that, that discovery is part of the zing and the energy. And when someone in the place that you work so hard, few people go there, I'm introducing you to this part of my world that makes me happy. Even if it ain't your cup of tea, be excited that there's something that, and when you get there, it's like, oh, that there's a reaction to that. Last thing I'm gonna say, and I don't want to hog up your whole show because I know you got a bunch of other guests, but the last thing is our generation, I'm gonna say our generation because we're still in it, okay? But we make a lot of stuff permanent that just shouldn't be permanent. We need to put time, if not time limitations, time recommendations on certain things. What's happening in 6 months? What's happening in a year? How long are these arguments lasting? Is this a 3, 4, 5 days long, 2, 3, 4 hours at a time? How long are we spending in these anxious spaces that are detrimental to our health and well-being? I'm talking to the brown people now. We got enough enemies and diseases and stuff that will tear us up from the inside because we are spiritual people. We're caring people. We're loving people. We give. And what do? We give everything to each other, and then we turn around and tear each other apart. Then we go make the next person miserable because we're suspicious of them, or we're wary about what they're bringing me to, or bringing me into, that kind of stuff. So I'd say let's be conscious of time. Let's not make everything permanent that doesn't need to be permanent, and let's be mindful of the things that I need. What do I need to fulfill that companion space? What kind of support do I need? That's going to mean some introspection before we start tearing somebody down for what they didn't do or couldn't know what to do.
That's why I said that no one else can make you whole. That was my reason for taking that break after that, because it's there. I had to learn those triggers. I had to, because, and that's another thing. Before everybody start, with this whole red flag thing that happened this week, it was referred to as, what are your triggers? What are some things that, kind of set you off? And so it kind of put me in a space, and this was the thing. After that turmoil, someone approached me because they realized I was single, and it took me some time afterwards because the person that came after him, I couldn't deal. I felt like I had a wall up, and that wall was up because because where one didn't have it together and there were some things, this, that, and the other, I immediately started picking this person apart. Beautiful heart, beautiful soul, very intellectual, but had fallen on hard times at the wrong time for me. And so then further down the line, it was like, wow, why didn't this work? And then I had to be completely honest with him because of where you were in your life and what was happening and what I had just come out of. I couldn't wrap my brain around being duped again into a situation. So I couldn't receive what I learned. Some beautiful lessons, and because it was handled appropriately, it's a great friendship, and because it was handled well. He was mature, and he was able to be a friend to me past what I was going through. Because and that right there, when you find a mature situation like that, I prayed nothing but blessings for that guy, and God has done amazing things for him. Not just because I prayed, but because he remained true to who he was. And so a hard time wasn't a long time for him, And so, but it had to happen that way because it had to show me the difference between intentions.
Let me share one quick thing. I married a couple of months ago. One of my former youth. All my kids get married, having families. I love it. And they were sharing in counseling. I'm not gonna name no names, but one of the things that they brought up as a general theme was some things that they didn't like. You know, he does this, she does this, and I don't like it. And what I suggested to them was, well, you're about to be Mrs. That. You're gonna be Mr. That. She likes this. She needs this certain thing. You're gonna have to get that and bring it and make sure it's there. He wants this, whatever. And when you say, well, I'm not gonna get it here, he will get it somewhere. Okay? He can order it on Amazon. And so when we are in that, courtship stage or that getting to know stage, can I be Mrs. That? Can I be Mr. That? And let's not just say, well, this is only casual. This is only friends. This is only, life's too short. We've had a pandemic. If we're not doing this with intention, we're really wasting the other person's time and holding them up for the person who does want to be Mrs. That or Mr. That, who can deal with that, who can handle it. And it's not to say that you only, be casual and have time limits so strict that you don't get to, give it a chance. I'm not saying that at all, but we do have to be honest. And for me, I'll put it like this. There are things that Doc Hop must require now. Not because I'm so much more elevated or grand or whatever. I just know this guy a little bit better, okay? So in order to be honest about who this person is, I can't even look back at the stuff that old Wayne would have been okay with, would have dealt with, would have figured out, found a way, well, it's not the worst thing in the world. Well, that's, I made a lot of accommodations for some stuff that I should have said no, and no and bye. Okay, if I'm honest, no and goodbye. Love you in Jesus' name, and I wish you the best. But many of us have lost a lot of time trying. We can't be trying ourselves into a tribulation. Come on, somebody. So
exactly
about that. And aim for the light. Last thing I'm gonna say is aim for the light. Because what I was sharing with that couple is, you have a slight difference in preferences. Okay, but what you really want is each other. If you're aiming toward light, you work through some stuff. And the stuff you can't work through, be honest, and let go.
Right. Let go and let God.
Come on now.
Right. And so Shanika says that things are temporary, including herself. Listen, and I get it. But the thing is, what makes, especially when you're in can we say high profile or in a spotlight type of situation, when your occupation requires spotlight, you're cautious of how many relationships you put out there. That's right. One. And it's not even about putting it out there, but putting yourself out there to be in a relationship with someone, because there are layers. You need to know the intentions of the person. Are you here? Because some just come to gather information.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And and then you have some who come to gather your contacts because of who you're connected to. And so it's that, let me get into your inner circle because it's a circle that I want to be in anyway. And so I want to ask you questions about it. And so those information seeking type of people, sometimes for me, you start asking too many questions. That's a red flag for me. When you start digging a little too deep, I see you. I see where this is going. This doesn't have anything, that rubbed me the wrong way. Just saying it made me itch. That's parasitical.
I'm a sure one that runs parallel to that. And I don't know who does this more. I don't know if it's a gender thing or what, but that information digging. What I've run across a few times. Well, why would you do that? Or why did you do it that way? In other words, the undermining of my intelligence or decision making or experiences that I've had, the low grade judgment that comes. And I'm going to just speak on behalf of the men right now. Society has made it really, really okay to treat men bad. Every time I see the video where the girlfriend destroys the video game character or the player, that kind of stuff.
Yes,
That
yes.
is so mean spirited to me, because it's like, well, all you do is play on the game. Okay, say, hey, let's have a not game night, as opposed to destroying something or taking something away. Like, number one, like as a child. Number two, if you're jealous of the contraption or whatever, that's some other issues. And then say, well, why do you do that? You know, when you chastise and you accuse and so forth, and then, you know, that's just an example with the game. But, you know, I listen, I've been chastised about church. Can't you just recycle a sermon? Do you have to study tonight? Or do you have to go to this program anniversary? I understand, hey, we want to spend time together. I get that, the motivation. But sometimes it can come across in a way that can be very, very sinister, okay? And just like, you know, asking you about contacts of people that you know, especially being a public figure, at a certain point, why do you even want to know? You know, because any answer I give you is not going to be good enough. And I know for me, when you know, again, that's red flag for me. If you can't accept, appreciate, and just in general recognize, hey, this guy has sense enough that the Lord gave a turtle to make decisions and live to be 4 decades or more. Come on now, you know, and maybe I'm just sensitive. I had a friend, and this was platonic, not even, you know, whatever, but they said something like, don't you read? I'm like, don't you ever question a Black man's literacy in your life. Again, my triggers. But when those things come up in that intimate space, just got to be honest. Hey, that's just not. Jeremy said, I just don't answer. Amen.
Right. There's some things that don't require, we don't even justify it with an answer. And it's not a thing if you're trying to be rude or even condescending. It's just we're not there yet.
Right, exactly.
We haven't crossed that bridge, but you are almost to the end of the road, boys to men. Okay, all right. Yeah. So this plane is about to come in for a safe landing, and your exits are here, and there. Okay. All right. So yeah, I completely get it. And once again, these are just our opinions. Okay, tribe, this is just us sharing. This is just us addressing some of the things that have that we've experienced. Okay, Glenda asked the question that she was kind of in the dark as to what the red flags was about, and so I'll double back one time. Glenda, that was in regards to some posts that went up on Instagram. Okay, that went up on Instagram about certain things that are considered to be red flags in situations, phrases. Can I hold $20? You know, not over here in Zion. Okay. You know, if we're in a church service, and well, we can't even say in a church service now because you can Zelle. Hallelujah to Jesus. We can Cash App. We can Givelify it. All right. So no one has to loan you 20 because you didn't get a chance to stop at the bank. Praise. Okay. All right. Okay. You can't even say you don't have your card. Do you have your phone? You got Zelle. Come on in. Bless God.
I got a red flag. You said it.
Oh, I'm here for it. Talk.
This is something I gotta deal with. Going through somebody's phone.
Hootie hoo!
Don't do it. Just Gen X, son of boomers. As a matter of fact, my dad is greatest generation. He old. The first time somebody went through my phone and told me about it, I was so shocked. I didn't get it. I never heard of it. But as time has gone on, I'm gonna warn some people. You deserve what you find. If you go snooping, you deserve what you find. Now,
listen, I'm gonna hand you some Kleenex. Okay, I'm just gonna hand you some Kleenex and Go on and cry them tears. But don't when you get your face broke, don't come at me with none of that.
Yeah,
Keep it to
because
yourself.
I know we're past the information age, we're in the electronic age, and I understand that boundaries of privacy and so forth are different now. Again, I know it's an age thing for me, but there was a time where we didn't know all the dirt. Okay, I believe in the miracles of cosmetics. Now, not to the point where I can't touch nothing because it might rub off. But there are things that I do not. I want you to go to the shop, have the time with Merdine, y'all talk, do the thing, magic, do your nails, the whole thing. I don't where gentlemen's supposed to be. Because when I go to the barber shop, I gotta talk to the barber about stuff. And when it comes to the phone thing, this again becomes a sinister set of behavior. It's very disrespectful. Yeah, because what it says is that the person that I'm with does not deserve the decency of their humanity, their privacy, their thoughts, the things that may occur to them or happen with their family or their friends or whatever that won't occur to me. And rest assured, men, women, and all in between, whatever your pronouns are, if a person is going to go and do something and they're old enough, grown enough to do it, they're going to do it. Okay, you can have boundaries or respect is about why you draw together as opposed to things that draw you apart. After that situation where someone went through my phone and there was nothing there because I didn't know that was something that people did, I got to the point where, well, I'm not hiding anything, but I'm not going to be standing accused in my own home, in my own situation, just because, I answered a text message because I turned my body a certain way. So no, I don't have time to think about that juvenile nonsense. I'm working. I got stuff to do. And if you want to go in there and look and see what's in there, good luck, because you probably won't understand half the stuff you see. And because you go looking with bad intentions, because it's bad, you're going to find something that you don't like or you don't understand. And that's going to start something that really is unnecessary, because if you're already married, okay, work on being married. You got a snoop, you got a roommate. Sorry. If you not married yet, if you dating, courting, engaged, or whatever, and you got to go to that level to snoop and whatnot, maybe it's time to make a different decision. Says leave something up because you would guess. I want you to look, see what you see. Yes. Let me mute. I've gone too far. I know I've made a lot of people mad. Don't go snooping. And if you do, zell them. If you want somebody's attention, hide money. Okay, put a $50 bill in a place where they may not be expecting it, and then their behavior might change. And I'll go back to my very first thing I said: just be nice. If you are kind, you get anything you want. Act crazy. You're gonna either get crazy or get left.
That part.
I said that from my heart.
Dr. Brown says, we need not park a temporary. Truth be told, we need not entertain a temp. What is a temp? I'm glad you asked, as only he can say it. That person, place, or thing we're keeping around, not to be confused with holding on to for no logical reason.
Amen.
We're not keeping we're not keeping nothing that don't want to be kept, and we're not keeping anything that should have got left. Okay? All right. Praise Jesus. Whew, we have talked about a lot, and we are definitely into overtime, but it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. I'm glad Marquise was able to jump in for a little while. I'm glad Jeremy was able to jump in for a little while. Hopkins, I thank you for jumping in. To everybody that has joined in through the conversations, you all have blessed my soul tonight. I mean, I laughed from a healthy place. But all of that is, with all that being said, with deal breakers, and the thing is, because see, I got people that watch, and sometimes they don't comment, but they're definitely listening in for various reasons. And I will leave you with this. when you come in contact with these red flags, all right, we have intuition. And I guess for the most part, I'm talking to my ladies right now. We have intuition. We are very conscientious of who and what we are, what we attract. We're aware of that. And I've been very transparent tonight. One of the things I had to realize was at one, I was attracting a type. But I found out that that type that I was attracting was based on what they had seen. So I had to change that perspective by allowing myself to be alone, allowing myself to see and to learn what it is that I need, not based. And this is something that I'm still working on because, sometimes people get caught up in looks. And of course, you want to be with someone of course, keep it on me. Of course, I want to be with someone who is dapper, who has it together, who knows how to conduct himself when he's around those that that I operate with. But just the same, I want to make sure that I'm where I need to be when I go around the people that he's around. So the thing is, I don't want to ask for something that I'm not willing to equate. And so once I realized where my issue was, that meant, friend, fly solo for a minute. Achieve solo. Because my achievements are not based on who I'm attached to. Because then I am the very thing that I don't want. And that's a parasite, a leech. I don't want to leech off of the man that God gives me. I want to be a blessing to that individual, just as I expect that man to be a blessing to me. No, we don't both have to. No, he doesn't have to be a preacher. At one time, that was the thing. I felt like, okay, because I'm in this lane, that I had to date somebody who was in that lane. And the reason was, and this was a terrible mistake, the reason was because I felt like, who else is going to understand this life? So I was trying to find someone who understands the life. And then God started showing me, just because they're not doing the same thing doesn't mean they don't understand. Watch this and respect the call that's on your life. So no, friend, you trying to think for me. I don't need you to think for me. I got you. I got this whole situation. So then it was a thing of, okay, well, God is going to give someone who understands. And he said, because Fran, yes, there are relationships that thrive and they both are in the same occupation. But then did you ever consider the idea that with two hectic and frantic schedules, it would be difficult for you to be there for each other, for you to support. And then watch this. Ooh, this is a word that sometimes women shy away from. When it comes to the relationship, when it comes to the marriage, it's not about. There is such a thing as a woman submitting. So when I come home, I'm not coming home as Minister Francesca, who does this, that, the hairstylist, the teacher, the tutor, the drummer, the video editor. It's Fran who does all of these things. But in that moment, I'm to be the helpmeet. You see? So in order to comfortably be that, I had to learn. There are things that I had to learn on my end. And so we have to know what our red flags are. We got to know our own triggers. And then we have to get to a place where we refuse to settle. Because God refuses to settle concerning us. And so who are we to settle? I'd rather wait for what God is going to do. Yeah, that puts me at yeah, that puts me at 40. Well, looking at 40 in a few months. No children. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it because if God wanted it a different way, it would be. And so this chapter of my life that I love what I'm reading right now. But you know that anticipation you have when you're reading a good book and you can't wait to see what the next chapter is bringing? That keeps me in a position of I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help, because my help, can I tell you a secret? Happens to be the author. I ain't gonna do y'all tonight. Happens to be the author and the finisher of my faith, the finisher of my story. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna keep taking it in. I'm gonna keep loving how things are coming together. Because like I told you at the beginning of this show, when I tell you this week, it's like all Jesus been saying. Last week was rough, Fran, huh? I know. Here, And so, what when I say when it, double for your trouble, he hit me twice this week, and all I could do was tell the Lord thank you. And then I was so grateful that when I wanted to cry, bawl my eyes out, he said, "No, I'm your bridge over troubled water." Because I gotta get you to the place of promise. I didn't bring you this far to leave you. I didn't bring you to this point to just say, I'm no. Just settle for the wilderness. Oh, I gotta get out of here because that'll preach. I'm not settling for the wilderness. I want the promised land. And the only thing standing between me and the promised land are the intentions and the actions that I show God. So if I give up and start going in circles, that means I settled for the wilderness. But if I stay with the though you slay me, yet will I trust you. Though it hurts, yet will I keep going. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy. It may endure, may not. But the for sure thing is joy is coming in the morning. So good night to my problems. Good night to wandering in the wilderness. Good night to all of the pain that makes me think getting up is not worth it. Good night to trivial thinking. Good night to settling. Because I got to wake up to my joy. And when it comes to my joy, I want to wake up on time to that. Whew! Good God Almighty. Yeah. Here we go. Miss Maddie says, refuse to settle, live your best life. Absolutely. Hopkins says, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. Yeah, buddy. Sabrina says, yes, honey. Hashtag double. Amen for the author and the finisher. Yes, he is. And honey, and he is working this storyline. And I'm here for it. I'm here for a good storyline. I love it. We got to learn to get out of our own way. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are thoroughly over into overtime. And you all have hung in there with me tonight. Thank you to all of my guests. It has been amazing. I'll leave you with our tribe vendors. Chrisette Sweets and Edible Treats. Carolyn. Y'all got that there. And then we have Swag Apparel. Check that out. Then we got Miss Rosie, balloons and decorations. And then for those of you that don't know, my tribe, they they got their text messages this week. I'm using an awesome system now. You don't have to worry about getting unnecessary messages or getting the responses from people. You can sign up and you text tribe. I forgot to put that on there. My bad. Let me fix that real quick. What you want to do is when you send a message, you want to text tribe. And you'll get an automatic response when you text the word tribe to that number, to 855-926 855-926 1023. All right, you'll get an automatic response. Check it out. You won't regret it. You only get 2 messages a week. This will also be the way that I will notify the tribe if anything comes up and we're unable to go live. You'll get a message straight from me. You'll also have the opportunity to chime in with your own topic suggestions if you have some. Please feel free to share them with me. I'm always grateful. Always remember to like, subscribe, and share. Don't tell anybody what I said. Send them the video so they can hear it for themselves. You see that smile? I mean it from the bottom of my soles of my feet. Send them the video so they can hear it for themselves. You don't have to go back and try to tell it, because guess what? You might leave out the good parts, and I'm not going to leave out the good parts, so let me tell it to them, all right? Y'all have a beautiful evening. It has been amazing. Once again, shout out to Wayne Hopkins, to Markeith Smith, to Jeremy Whittington. Shout out to my boy, Reggie Harris, who was gonna jump on, had a football game tonight. I hope the team won. Shout out to his team. I want to give a shout out to my little baby boy, Michael Coleman, who's playing for Verb. I hope they had a good game tonight. I hope you brought home that W. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of my boys that are actually out here trying to make something of themselves, doing well in school, and keeping their heads together. Listen, you've all been great. I'm going to turn y'all loose because I need to eat dinner, okay? I need to eat dinner, and I'm not going to Norm's. Nothing wrong with it, but not tonight. I don't want that tonight. That's not what I want. All right, love you guys. I'll see you next week. This is Conversations with Fran. Jump on that texting community, 855-926-1023. Text the word tribe, and I promise you'll get a message back. Have a great evening. I love you all. Bye.